Hello, I'm Connie, and today I'm going to be talking you through how to make your own 3D paper daffodil. Now, I don't know if you know about BBC Radio Derby, but they are promoting making daffodils and putting them in your window to spread some joy and some hope this spring. So, if you have had the chance to pop over to Artcore to pick up your pack on how to make a paper daffodil, you will have received a bag a bit like this, and inside you will have, I've got it on the table here, some stencils. So I'm going to show you how you can use these stencils today, but if you don't have these stencils, don't worry, I'll show you how to make it if you haven't got the pack as well. You'll also have an instruction pack, and you will have some yellow and orange paper and some white paper as well, because you can always draw a daffodil or colour in a daffodil and cut that out as well. So you can display these in your window at home, or you can send them along to Artcore and they are going to display them in the Artcore gallery, which is very exciting. So you can have your work displayed for everybody to see. So we'll get started, and I'm going to be using the templates. So I have cut out some templates here. I've cut out the smaller version. You get a small version and a big version. I'm just going to show you the smaller version so it fits on the screen, but it's still quite big. I will show you how to make that. So you start by cutting out your template. So you'll need some scissors, and you can reinforce your template as well by cutting this out first and then sticking it on some card and then cutting it out again, and then you have a stronger thing to draw around, if you would like to do that, of course. So I'm just going to bring the camera down so you can see my workspace. So there we are. So I'm going to start with showing you what each piece looks like whilst you're cutting out your template. So this curved piece with a wibbly wobbly edge makes the flute in the centre. This base piece is this circle here, and we need this to stick all our petals onto, and this template is for the petals, and you will need to cut out 6 of these. So you'll also seen that there's these orange pieces in the middle, and you just need to cut out an orange rectangle for that, but I'll come to that later. So I'm going to start by drawing around my template. So I'm going to do everything out of yellow to start with, and you can tessellate your templates so you can fit as much on your paper as possible, so you can rearrange it. So I'm going to start by drawing round this daffodil petal template 6 times. So I'm going to put it quite close to the edge there, so I make the most of the paper I've got. Also, you know what, don't worry if it's not absolutely perfect, because everything in nature's a bit wibbly wobbly, so you don't have to worry if you're gonna make the lines a bit wibbly wobbly. And can you see what I'm doing is I'm just turning the petal shape around just so I can fit as many on here as possible so I don't waste the card. So I'm just turning it around and I'm just drawing around these shapes. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I need 2 more. There's 1. I'm just going to check I can fit that on there. Yes, I can. So there we have 6 petals. So I'm going to cut those out. But first I think I'm going to draw around my petal base. If you don't have these templates, if you haven't managed to pick up a pack from Art Court, don't worry. You just need to create a petal shape, which is like an oval with one end that's coming to a point. And the base, you can use anything round, so a small jam jar or a roll of sellotape. Just going to draw around that now. There we are. And then this daffodil template. If you don't have this template, not to worry, just imagine you're drawing a rainbow and you can slant the edges a little and then just draw a wiggly line along the top. Okay, so to fit this on, probably fit this on here. So you can just imagine, if you don't have this template, that you're going to draw a rainbow like this, and then you can draw your wibbly wobbly edge, and it doesn't have to be exact, do not worry about that. That's the nice thing about paper crafts and making things from nature. It doesn't have to be 100% accurate because it will all work out in the end. So we've got our 6 petals here, we've got our base, and we've got the shape for our flute. I'm just going to show you that close up. So it's a bit like a rainbow with the top edge all wibbly wobbly and the edges, the ends, on a slant. And this curve allows us to, when we roll it up, allows it to flute out like this. So it's not a straight tube, it starts narrow and ends a bit wider. So now we've done all of this. I'll pop back up here, hello. So now we've drawn out all our shapes. We need to cut them all out. So you might have some scissors on hand. You might want somebody to help you cut these out. So also a little tip, if you've got a few sheets of paper, you can layer up a couple of sheets of paper and cut more than one set out at once if you want to make daffodils on a big mass production. I'm going to start by cutting. When I'm cutting out, and I'm cutting lots of things out, I normally start by cutting the big piece of paper into a smaller bit of paper because it makes it easier to handle. So I'll just roughly cut out. Can you see? I'll move the camera back down. So I start by. It's hard when you're trying to cut out a big piece of paper. It gets in the way. So if you cut it into a smaller piece first, then it makes it much easier to go around the shape like so. And again, don't worry if it's not completely exact or if it goes a bit wibbly wobbly. It's a flower. It's going to be something you see in nature, and Have you ever seen two daffodils look exactly the same? Because I haven't. They're always slightly different if you look at the details. So you'll cut these petals out. And again, if you don't have yellow paper, you can do this on white paper and then colour each petal in. You can put some shading on there. Just going to cut that to a smaller rectangle. And if any of you have been on any walks, don't know if you've been on any walks this week and have seen the new spring bulbs poking through. It's nice to see. Spring's definitely on its way. So I've got 3 there, 3 more to go. So yes, mind your fingers. Don't worry about going over the edge or under the edge or going a bit wobbly. It will all be fine. Okay. Oh, this colour's such a happy colour. Do make you smile, daffodils. Okay, going to cut around this one. So there's another one and 1 more petal to go. So I'm just going to cut around. And then this last edge. There we are. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 petals all ready to go. So I'm just going to pop that to one side. And now what do I have left? I have the base and the flute. So I'm going to get rid of that bit of paper there. The smaller the excess amount of paper, the easier it is to cut out. So I'm going to cut round the base, and don't worry if it's not an exact circle, it's going on the back, it's just to reinforce everything. Nobody's going to see it, so do not stress. It's supposed to be fun. So there we go, there's a nice base for our petals, so I'll pop that over there. And now we need to cut out our strange wibbly wobbly rainbow shape for our flute. So again, don't worry if you don't stick exactly to the lines, because we can always just make it, it's just so it's not a straight edge, it's to add some texture. And if you look at a daffodil, they do have they don't have a straight edge on the flutes that come out in the centre. So just be careful with your scissors and work around the shape like so. Okay. And then there we go. So we've done that edge there, and then I'm just going to cut this bit and then this edge here. There we go. So we have our flute, trumpet, we have our base, and we have our petals. The one thing we haven't cut out yet is these orange pieces to go in the middle. So I will show you how to do those next. So we have everything cut out. So I'll pop these to one side. And I'm just going to take a piece of orange. So So a piece of orange card like so. Swap that. There we are. So I'm just going to cut a rectangle about the height of this edge line. So it's not going to need to be very high. So I'm just going to cut a small rectangle like so. Okay. So once you've got this rectangle, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to fold a little tab. Just a very, very small little tab. Just fold the edge over. Just ever so slightly, like so. And now I'm just going to cut a few little slits. Can you see this? Just about 1 centimetre or less apart. Like so. So we've got this little fringe, and this is going to make some tabs for us to be able to stick down our pieces at the bottom. It's just going to give us a glue tab. Now we've got this, we look at the rest of our rectangle and we're going to cut slits, not to the line, to a bit before the line, because we don't want to have it falling apart. So something about like that, can you see? So I'm just going to cut some slits down here. You might want to make them quite close together. Mind your fingers, be very careful. So you'll create something with a fringe like this. But can you see the cuts don't meet up? Because if they did, then it would just be cut off. But we can roll this, you see? You might not want to use all of this, but we can also curl this back with our fingers, like so. And that is ready to go in the centre of our daffodil. So I would say it's about time we made the rest of it. So we're going to need our pieces back. So I'm going to start off by taking our petals, and we're going to want to give our petals a little bit of shape. Can you see there's a little bit of shape on these petals? They're not flat. I mean, you can make them flat if you want to, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to give them a bit of shape, just with your fingers in the centre, just push up and fold the petals in half slightly, like so. And then just keep doing that on each petal. So you want to just fold the petals slightly in half. And that's it. We're going to go on the next one. And there we are. Just keep folding the petals in half. That's it. There we go. So we have 6 petals and they all now have a little bit of shape. So like this. You've noticed I haven't folded right down here because this is where the glue's going. It doesn't matter if you have folded down there, because if you just fold it down to the bottom you can unfold it, and we're going to put the glue on the pointy end. And daffodils have 6 petals, so we're going to put the first 3 on, a bit like a windmill, and then we're going to put the other 3 on in the gaps, like so. And this allows it to have nice, evenly spaced petals. So I'll stick the first 3 on first. So we're going to take our glue stick. That's it. And then stick it down. Oops. And we're just putting glue just on the ends here. Can you see I'm not putting it on the whole petal. I'm just putting it on the end. I mean, if you prefer, you can put the glue on the circle itself. But I find it a lot easier and a lot less messy to put the glue on the petal. So there we go. We put 3 on first, so they look a bit like, it does look a bit like a propeller at first. So I'll pop this last 3rd one on. There we are. So yes, it does look a bit like a propeller, but can you see there are 3 petals and 3 gaps, and this method just allows it to be spaced, all the petals to be spaced evenly. So we're going to pick up our 4th petal here, and we're going to put some more glue on the end. We want it to be stuck well. Can you see how much glue I'm putting on there? So it's about that far up the petal. And popping it in there and pressing it down so it's nice and stuck. Get 5th petal. And then we'll pop this one here. And then this petal here. Last one. Pop a bit of glue on. And then there we are. Pop the last one on, press it down, and there is our perfectly spaced out daffodil without the centre. Now we'll get to the centre. There are different centres you can do. Of course, you can always do this differently. You can draw this out on a yellow piece of paper and cut it out all in one if you like, but this way just gives it a bit more texture and some bit of 3D-ness, I think. But if you are wanting to make a 3D centre, you can use this flute template, which I will show you how to use this piece next. However, if you are wanting to make a flat one to stick in your window, you can always take your orange card. So this is not what we're doing for the 3D one. I'm just showing you a quick way on how to make a different centre if you want. You can take a round piece of something round. I've got my glue stick lid here. And I'm just going to draw a wibbly edge around it. So there you are, wibbly edge. And you can cut this out, the shape out. And you can stick this wibbly circle in the centre if you are wanting to create a flatter flower, or you can draw a trumpet shape. So you can draw something that looks like wibbly edge. You can draw a flat version of the trumpet and cut that out and stick it in the middle. So there are a couple more options if you're looking for something flat. However, we're going to do our 3D trumpet next. So I'm going to do this yellow part here. So we take our wibbly wobbly rainbow shape that we've cut out, and we're going to want to roll it a little. So it's good if you've got something round to roll it around. It helps. You can just it helps curl it. Can you see it's helping curl the paper? Just gives you a bit of a start, and then you can roll it up like so. Can you see? It creates this cone sort of shape. Now to stick it down, you can't stick a flat edge very well. So we're going to do the same, what we did with this centerpiece, where we made these little tabs. We're going to do the exact same thing along this edge, and I'm just going to show you how to do that. So I'm just going to cut tiny little tabs like so. You don't need them to be very deep. They're very, very small. Can you see? They're not big at all. But it just allows us to stick down. Stick down the tabs, because if we fold them over like this, can you see? We've got something to glue now. So I'm just going to fold those in like so. So we fold them all down like that, and then we're going to put some glue on one edge, because if we roll it up you'll see where we need to stick it. So if we put some glue on this edge, and carry on rolling it, and we'll put some glue on that edge I think as well, and then we'll hold it, and then it can become a flute like this. So now we know where we want our glue. I'm going to put a bit of glue on this edge. You can always put more on, remember, if it's not enough. It's harder to take the glue off and put it on. I'm just going to roll it around like so. I think I want it there, and I need to put some more glue on this edge here. So I'm just going to take my glue stick and pop that on there. Just carry on rolling it around, and thankfully the glue doesn't dry straight away, so you have a bit of time to just move the paper with your fingers and get it into the right position. So I'll just pop up here. So we now have a little daffodil trumpet. I'm just going to hold it for a second just so it keeps its shape whilst the glue dries. But hopefully everybody can get involved and make their own paper daffodil, and it would be so lovely to see all of them on display in the window at Albert Street at Artcore Gallery. It'd be so exciting, and I'm sure it would cheer up a lot of passers-by if you see a whole window of daffodils. So yes, can you see what we've done with the tabs has made this little base here? So it's made a surface that we can put the glue onto, so it can stick onto the flower. So I think that's ready to be stuck on now. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to bring the camera back down here. Okay, so I've got our petals. Woohoo! And we've got our trumpet there, and we've also got the centre stamen as well. So I'm going to start by putting Pritt Stick on the base here. So I'm just putting plenty on. It's quite a lot of paper to stick down, so you might want a good Pritt Stick, and just making it a bit tacky like that. Can you see? So I've got my glue there, and now all I need to do is put it in the middle of these petals. I'm just gonna push it down with my finger. There we go. Can you see? We have a daffodil. Woohoo! So now that is stuck, we need to stick down our stamens so they go in the centre like so, and you can have a little look where you want them to go first, and with these you can make sure that they stick down. So I'm just going to put some glue on these tabs first. Okay. I'm just going to make sure that these stick together. Okay, that looks good. You see, we just want to create flat surfaces that are easier to stick, you see. So these look good. And I'm now going to put glue on all of them. I'm going to put quite a bit of glue on. Just make sure that it sticks. You don't have to use a glue stick. You can use glue dots, double-sided tape, ordinary tape, anything sticky. PVA, although PVA takes a while to dry, so you might need to hold it in place for a while. So glue stick, I find, is the best option. Now, once we've got our little base with loads of glue on, we want to place it in the centre, like so, and then you can fluff up the tabs as well. And there we are. There is your very own paper daffodil. Now you can create a stem and some leaves as well out of green paper. So you don't. There are lots of other things you can make as well. So you can have some green paper. You can make smaller versions and stick them on a card for Mother's Day. You could stick these onto some sticks and make a bunch of flowers for Mother's Day too. But these are perfect to hang in your window, so you can pop a little hole in the top and hang it up, or you can stick it on a board, or attach it with blue tack. So there's lots of ways of displaying this, and you can make different sizes. This is the smaller version of the template, just so it fits in the camera, or you can cut out your own shapes, which is what I've done with this one. So it's a bit smaller, and I can show you this different centre if you like. So this centre is made by simply, pop these to one side, you take a piece of paper or card, and I will draw it first. So you need to draw around something round, or draw around a circle. So I can draw around my tape here. So there we are, got a circle there, and then I'm going to draw a spiral. Now, not a tight spiral, just a loose spiral, not like a snail. Now you can start in the centre and work outwards, or you can start from outwards and work to the centre. I'm going to start in just off centre actually, because this, yeah. So I'm just doing a little spiral, can you see? So it's a circle with a loose spiral, a bit like a snail. And then I'm just going to cut out this circle. Don't worry if it's not exact, it really doesn't matter. You can see mine's not very exact. And then I'm going to cut along this spiral line. Can you see? So I'm just going to cut along here. Again, I'm not worrying too much if it's not exact or not perfect. And now what I'm going to do, I'm going to curl this paper up. And I'm just working my way along the spiral. Now this is a really good way to make little paper roses, but it also works really well for making the centres of daffodils. Now once it's all rolled up, if you let go, it will kind of stay in position, but it'll be quite loose. But that's a really good way of making little paper roses. But if we're wanting to keep its shape, we keep it rolled up and we put a load of glue. You can press on the end of the paper again to kind of keep it in shape and get some glue on there. And then we keep it stuck down, press down, and there we have it. So you wait for the glue to dry and you have another way of creating a centre for your daffodil. And I've done this daffodil in exactly the same way as this one. I've just cut out smaller petals and a smaller base, and I've just done the swirl in there. And one last way of creating a daffodil is by simply cutting out the petals as you did here, but instead of cutting out the flute, you cut out a flat picture of the flute and work the petals around it. So I will show you briefly, because we've only got 5 minutes left. I'm just going to draw a flute. So the centre of the daffodil will be its wibbly wobbly edge, like so. And you can do some shading if you want. You can do paper cutting, where you really cut out shapes inside it as well. There's so many things you can do. You can completely use your own imagination. These are examples, but if you want to do it another way and have it displayed in art core, I am sure everyone will be really happy to see that as well. So just going to cut out the centre. You see that there? And then I'm just going to cut out a petal shape. Can you see those taking shape? So I'm going to cut out another few petals. So this way you can make something flat to stick in your window if you prefer. I'm just going to keep on making these petals. So this is a great thing that BBC Radio Derby are doing. There's so many different ways you can make a daffodil, and it would be so lovely to see them up in your windows at home and in Albert Street. If you would like to bring them over, I'm sure there will be more details with this video on how you can get them to artcore. Can you see there's a daffodil building up here? I'll turn it around so you guys can see. you just keep on cutting out the petals and placing the trumpet, and then you can make a stem out of green paper and some nice long leaves, which are really similar to these petal shapes, but they're just longer and slimmer. So there we are. So we have our different daffodils, and I really hope you enjoy making them and have them on display around Derby. It'd be so lovely, and not just Derby, other places as well. So good luck making your paper daffodils, and I hope to see you all soon. So yes, thank you guys, and happy crafting. Okay, bye everyone.